Hello everyone, I am Sidhu. I am having 7 years of experience in the software development. This course is provided by Micro1. If you don't know Micro1 yet, Micro1 helps companies hire the best remote software developers easily. The first 1 week of your hire is 100% free, no questions asked. If you want to learn more, go back and check micro1.ai. In today's session, we are going to learn about GitHub Copilot Labs. GitHub Copilot Labs is a VS Code extension for experimental applications of GitHub Copilot. There are few requirements which needs to be satisfied. First one, an active GitHub Copilot subscription is required. Second one, you must have the main extension of GitHub Copilot alongside of the GitHub Copilot Labs. GitHub Copilot is a groundbreaking AI pair programmer for developers. Coming to the GitHub Copilot Labs, it is separate from the GitHub Copilot extension, while GitHub Copilot continues to march toward general availability. Labs will be providing ground for experimental applications of machine learning that improve the developer's experience. What GitHub Copilot Labs can do? Currently, GitHub Copilot Labs consists of a VS Code sidebar that houses distinct features. Currently, there are 4: code explanation, code translation, IDE brushes, and test generation. Once the GitHub Copilot Labs extension is installed, you will see an icon in the left hand side sidebar. Clicking on that will reveal the sidebar with each experiment in separate panel. Now let's go back to the VS Code. We'll see how to install GitHub Copilot Labs. This is the VS Code. You need to click on the extensions, search for GitHub Copilot Labs, and then click on it and click on the install. Before that, make sure you already installed GitHub Copilot as well as you need the subscription of GitHub Copilot. Once you get installed, actually you can see this icon, GitHub Copilot Labs. You can click on it actually. So as I explained, this is the first part is code explanation. Second part is language translation. Third part is brushes. Fourth part is test generation. These are the 4 tabs available. If you open GitHub Copilot Labs, the first one is the explaining the code. Every developer learns that writing new code is only a part of software development. Often, the hardest job that developers face is reading and understanding the code. Whether it's because it's an unfamiliar code base or whether the code in question is usually a library, you might not know. The first step is to get the rough idea of what's going on so you can jump on it, use your code base and make some changes. So this feature lets you highlight a block of code and ask GitHub Copilot to explain it in a plain language. First, we'll open a file, server.js. It's actually a to-do list API. But for example, if it is written by someone and I wanted to know what this code is exactly doing, right? So what I will do is I'll go to the GitHub Copilot Labs. I expand the explain section. And then I wanted to know what is this section of code is doing. I just need to select this and I just need to ask the GitHub Copilot that explain the code. So here I can select explain code. I can click on the ask Copilot. It takes some time and it gives you the result as a written. So you can see that there are some steps it has written and it has given you the explanation of it, or else you can select something else like code does following in English. You can ask it. You can see what it is saying. So it explains you line by line what exactly this piece of code does. The second feature of the GitHub Copilot Labs is language translation. Language translation works similarly to explain feature. Highlight a chunk of code, select the language you would like to translate that code into and hit the Ask Copilot button. While the translations are imperfect, we think they can serve as good as starting points for developers who are finding logic in the wild and adapting it to their needs in another language. Again, this is an experimental feature, so we are interested in hearing how you can use it and how you might find it useful. So now let's go how it is there. Now I can click on the language translation, and for example, I want to select this piece of code. Okay, and I want this to convert into Java or some other language, whichever. Actually, let's select maybe, where is Java? Yeah, Java. And you can ask the Copilot to convert this code. Let's see. So in Java also it's giving like this. I think it's incorrect. As it said, it's experimental, right? You can say it is incorrect, right? Maybe you can ask this in some other language like Python. You can select Python. You can select ask. So it's saying that you can use this @app.route and this and definition and this. This is somewhat helpful, right? So you can basically select in from the right hand side the set of things what you want to convert, and you just need to click on the Ask Copilot. The next feature of the GitHub Copilot Labs is brushes. Basically how Paint tool has brushes, right? This tool also has few brushes. So these brushes are actually different features. The first one is readable. Actually, if you know what is readable is, this actually makes this code more readable. Actually, you can select any part of the code. Okay, you can select any part of the code from the right hand side and you can click on the readable. So once you click on the readable, it actually makes this code more readable. And if you write the code very funky or in a very bad format, you can select the code, you can click on the readable. Actually using this AI tools, that actually makes this more readable. The second one is adding types. For example, if this is a TypeScript project, okay, you can select some code, and if you click on the add types, it basically adds you the types to the each and every function if it is a TypeScript project, right? And fixing the bug, basically if it has some issues, for example, instead of rest dot, right, I am going to make it rs dot status. Okay, and actually it is an issue, right? Rs dot status is not found because response is coming as res, and I'm going to select this and I'm click on the fix bug. Let's see whether it will fix or not. Actually it fixed it with res, right? So even though if you have any bugs, you can select from the right hand side, you can click on the fix bug. This clean actually makes your code cleaner, and if there are any memory leaks or if there are any problems with your code, you can click on the clean up the project. And this list steps actually gives you, for example, if you select this list of code, and this actually converts into a list of steps. I'm going to select this code, I'm clicking on the list steps. So this converts this code into a list of steps, and it adds those documentation. Now you can see, right, the proper documentation added in the list of steps, right? So and if you select this, if you click on the make this more robust, actually it adds more security and more null checks, more status checks, and it makes your code more robust. Okay, and if you click on the chunk, it makes your code more chunkable. And if you click on the documentation, and it adds the more documentation or more comments to your code. Okay, if you click on the custom, you can write your more brushes and you can apply those as well. So these are different brushes available in the GitHub Copilot Labs. These are all experimental. They are not making sure that these will work perfect. It's all experimental. The last feature of GitHub Copilot Labs is test generation. Basically, whenever you select some test file, it actually generates different kinds of tests for that. But as of now, it's actually an experimental feature, and it's only available for JavaScript and TypeScript at this moment. But I can't see any kind of test generation in the existing extension. Maybe in the next version of it, it might be available. We have to wait for it. That's all for this session. I'm signing off. Bye-bye.